Here is some news for your next week's special show. First things first, Callum decides to throw a party at the pub to celebrate Kai coming back for Christmas. Yes. He recently goes to grab a customer a drink. And then he noticed that something's very wrong. He then tells his customer to just wait a minute and he will get the drink for him in a second. And then Callum goes round the back to go and get a candle to make it smell a bit nice because it smelled like wine inside the pub. And then he goes and turns around and sees Kai behind him and notices that Kai has came back early instead of at Christmas time. And then basically because he gets a fright, he drops his match and then causing for the pub to set on fire, causing for the boxes and everything to go on fire. And then Callum quickly rushes and tells everybody to hurry and get out the pub before the pub blows up. He then remembers after that there's cans of gas and everything in the back behind the boxes. Then it causes for the pub to blow up. Then the pub blew up, causing for the electricity to go out. And then Callum recently afterwards fell on the floor. But whilst Kai was okay, he managed to get out on time. Callum was just getting up to get out. Then Callum managed to get out with everybody. Then the pub was on fire afterwards. And then afterwards, the fire truck arrived just on time to put the fire out. And then basically afterwards, they say to Callum they found a dead body inside the pub. And then he said, can't he go? And then he asked, can he go to prison for that? And he was meaning when he said it, like if he could go to prison for that, but he doesn't want to. And then he asked that. The firefighter said that Callum's responsible for this because he was the one that wanted to throw the party. Then he said that how is it his fault though? And then the firefighter said because he dropped the match on the floor or causing for this all to happen. And then Callum starts freaking out and then basically tells him to go. And then he goes away from Callum. And then Callum goes in to see the damage and sees the dead body at the corner there. There was mud piles and everything everywhere. He goes inside the room and notices that there's gas tanks. There's 3 of them. And then he's like, and then he says to himself, how can 3 gas tanks cause for all this to blow up? But really, Callum, even 1 gas tank could do enough. You're lucky, Callum, that you didn't die. And then that's how this all ended. But yes, so Callum's babies are on holiday with their grandma for a week. This is why. But we're all starting to wonder why Callum keeps giving his babies to his grandma. Is Callum not ready yet to be a father? Well, we'll just have to wait and see till the future. Now let's move on and see what else happens. Callum sits on his couch the day after the night happened. And then he says to himself that he's ashamed of himself, that he has basically went and hurt people. He said he is ashamed of himself because he managed to kill all these people. And then Callum goes and sits outside with Kai, and Kai says maybe you should turn the fire on, and Callum said not a chance, he has seen enough fire to last him a lifetime. And then basically Kai goes out to go shopping, and then he sees on the newspapers that he's on it. That Kai then phones Callum. The newspaper said, that this dude is a killer. He killed people in the pub on purpose. Callum says to Kai that he did not do this on purpose. So then Callum decides to go to the court and tell them. He then shows up in court saying that he did not do that on purpose. He didn't even know he had gas tanks. He said it was not his fault, it was the gas tanks in the match. And then the court says, still though somebody died because you dropped the match, so it could still be because Callum dropped his match, they said. But basically afterwards, what they said will shock you. They said afterwards they were taking Callum's kids away. Callum then recently before they get that full sentence out of the mouth, he knows what they were going to say, and he jumps up and quickly tells them not to. And then they try to take the kids away from him. And then recently what he does will also shock you. And then Callum got annoyed and shut the match and set this place on fire. And then basically they told the officer to send him down to prison. And then he went to prison afterwards. Callum then recently says afterwards to himself he is going to hatch an escape plan. And then the officer comes and says that it's lunchtime, and then Callum says that they better let him out or he will set the place up in flames. And then basically an hour later he set the place up in flames. Callum seems to be setting a lot of fire this week. And then Callum says to himself, it's madness. It's time I fake my own death. And then he quickly jumps off the roof and lies down and pretends to be dead. And then Callum tends to be dead. But Kai is so aware, but then Kai is not aware that he faked his own death and recently thinks he's dead. When could this be Callum leaving him for good, or could he be back? We will have to wait and see. And enjoy your show for this week. Enjoy it.